Hi, I'm Sammy Murrian, and this is a movie review from rehab. I'm sick. I'm coming down with crap. I've got a really bad cold. But I'm gonna rough it out. I've got 2 big bags of Ricola by my chair, and a big cup of peppermint tea. And I'm gonna rough this one out, because I really want to talk to you all about Nocturnal Animals, which I just saw last night. At risk of understatement or sounding banal, Tom Ford is just a natural-born filmmaker. The same way he's a natural-born fashion designer. Tom Ford has had to prove himself as a director the same way he did as a fashion designer. I mean, Tom Ford got into the fashion business and became an icon of fashion, just a legend in the fashion industry. He did it on his own. He did not accomplish this through nepotism or having anything handed to him. Tom Ford became a legend in fashion through talent and hard work, period. And he's done the same as a film director. Again, at risk of understatement or sounding like I'm a basic bitch, Tom Ford is a creative genius. I truly believe that. I truly believe that Tom Ford is an artistic genius. And like any artistic genius, Tom Ford takes a lot of risks in his life and in his art. The risks that Tom Ford takes with Nocturnal Animals are downright perilous, and they pay off. They pay off dividends. This is so gloriously, beautifully, garishly a movie, a widescreen marvel that is production designed within an inch of its life. It's also deeply and even uncomfortably human. This is glittering artifice that is just dripping with pure, genuine emotions. Just not very nice emotions. This is not a very nice movie. This is not a nice movie at all. Amy Adams plays Susan, a very wealthy and very unhappy Los Angeles art gallery owner. Susan receives a manuscript from her ex-husband Edward, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. This manuscript is called Nocturnal Animals, and it is a violent, dark, sad thriller that is very clearly inspired by Susan, and she sees it as a revenge tale, possibly an attempt to reach out. Tom Ford is a natural at this, and I'd say as of now he officially has nothing left to prove. I really liked Tom Ford's first movie, A Single Man, which silenced a lot of his critics. Tom Ford's an easy target, and I think a lot of cynical people didn't want to believe that a fashion designer could just jump into filmmaking and be a writer-director. A Single Man was a very good movie, and here, with his second movie, Tom Ford has not only avoided the sophomore slump, but he's just really, really, really outdone himself and made something that is risky and confident and really works when it shouldn't. The structure of Nocturnal Animals is just a marvel. We are constantly going back and forth between Susan's present, flashbacks of Susan and Edward's past, and this story, this Nocturnal Animals story, this fiction story that Edward has written and sent to Susan, this very violent thriller. And man, the storytelling here is so nimble and graceful. I think maybe the best thing in this movie, and this is a movie in which I loved everything, is right smack dab in the middle of this movie. Laura Linney has a cameo as Susan's mother. And in one scene, in less than 5 minutes, gives us so much information. Really, all that we need to know, nothing more, nothing less, about Susan and her background and why she is the way that she is. This movie is about a world that is so lacking in humanity. It's so cold. This wealthy art world is just so drained of humanity. And in that, any movie about this world really, really runs the risk of being itself lacking in humanity, appearing to be completely untouched by human hands. This is Tom Ford's world. This is the world that he lives in. This is what he knows. This is what's been his world for decades now. B, he's very talented. And though this movie is so much about just fakeness and lies and artificiality, it's never anything less than authentic itself. I went into Nocturnal Animals thinking, I'll probably rather enjoy this. I certainly like Tom Ford's first film. Nocturnal Animals is in my top 5 of 2016, which I have been very clear about. 2016 is a stunningly, staggeringly great year for movies. Nocturnal Animals is in my top 5. This movie stunned me. And it's stuck with me, too. It's stuck in my head, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. This movie is completely haunting. There's been some polarization amongst critics as far as Nocturnal Animals goes. I get it, and I don't. I've read some of the reviews that aren't so keen on Nocturnal Animals. Some, I think, are just, some critics who are down on this movie, I honestly think are just moldy oldies who aren't really keen on seeing anything super fresh and new, which this is. I mean, Tom Ford is a director who has an innate understanding of film and also how to push the envelope and move the medium forward and do something different. And there's always going to be, a patch of people, even critics, who are very resistant to that. This movie's very different, so of course it's going to have its detractors. I've also read some critics saying that this movie is just too cruel and mean. Yes, this movie is very cruel. This movie is difficult, and it's nasty. This is a nasty movie. But to that I say, have you been through a breakup before? Like, what else do you feel when that's going on? What else do you feel when you separate from someone than just like the worst feelings that you have? I'm going through a breakup right now, actually. An unnecessarily prolonged breakup, and it's just unbearable. It's nowhere near as nasty as Nocturnal Animals, but I still found a lot to relate to. Yes, this movie is cruel. It is very cruel. Given who he is, it should be no surprise that Tom Ford just has exquisite taste and has a total mastery over authenticity versus artificiality. And aside from Moonlight, no American film this year is more deserving of an Academy Award for directing. I absolutely think that Tom Ford should be recognized and nominated for his achievement in screenwriting as well. Nocturnal Animals is the kind of movie that just really deserves recognition as an achievement in directing, because this is, in so many ways, classical and pays tribute to what's come before. This is very reminiscent of Hitchcock at times, down to a score which is just pure Bernard Herrmann. This movie is also unlike anything you've ever seen. So I stuck it out. I got through the review. I'm sick, but I got through my review of Nocturnal Animals. This movie is out in wide release around the country right now, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Be warned. It will stick with you. This movie will stick with you. You guys, thank you so much as always for tuning into my channel. I appreciate your support so much. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Take care, keep in touch, and be well, everybody. Bye!